Okay, this is all of you should be at this point. If you're not, then type in mail.google.com and press enter. But all of you should be here. You may have a message, you may not have a message. These were the same user IDs that we used last time. I think that person there is the student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, student 5, student 6, student 7, and then that one's student 8. But you don't need to know that, but that's the way that they're numbered. The the 3 or the 9 little dots up here. So everybody see that right here? It's in the upper right hand corner. Go ahead and click that. Now this is where you see your applications, and Google Sheets isn't on here on this page. If you click the more, you may or may not see it here. I don't see it on mine. But you see down here at the very bottom it says even more from Google. I'll let everybody get to that point. Do you see the even more?
I clicked on it and I had radically helpful things made by Google.
Oh, okay. Did I click on it? There it goes. Now, as you scroll down through here, these are all their programs they have available. You can read a little bit about them. You get support on them if you want. Lots of applications. Some of these you can only run from a cell phone. So if you got a smartphone, you can do some of these. Some of them you can do off the web. Now, it may be hard for you to find the one we're looking for because they're not really in a good order here, I don't think. There are some categories across top where you can narrow down to what you want to look at. There's also an all products here. If you click all products over here on the right-hand side, it'll take you down to this, and they're all in one. This is a little bit easier to find. Some of these I've never played with. I have no idea what Google Fonts is.
So what are we looking for?
We're going to go into a product called Sheets. So if you scroll down, it's a little green rectangle with sheets. Yeah. Everybody get in or get to this point? Not yet? Okay.
Mine didn't. Oh, never mind. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I think I clicked on our products instead of all products. So, yes, I'm
Okay. So down here, you see there's a go to Google Sheets. There's also Docs, which is like for Word, spreadsheet for your Word documents and so forth. Sheets is for spreadsheets. Slides is for like a PowerPoint presentation. It's equivalent of that. And we'll look at Forms tonight. Because Forms actually works hand in hand with Sheets. So, but you see where it says go to Google Sheets. We'll go ahead and click that. Now, the nature of these products are that they store it all up here in the cloud. So you're not saving it to your hard drive at all. You can download it to your hard drive, but the idea is not that you do that. When you download it to your hard drive, you're downloading a copy. So if you make any change to it on your computer, it will not match what's already up in the cloud. So if you download a copy, you probably just want to do it for viewing or emailing it to somebody or loading in Excel. If you're going to make any changes, you should do it to your original up here. Now, they got some templates here, but we're going to go into the blank. This starts a new spreadsheet.
So it looks very much like Excel.
Right. They're pretty well stole a lot of Excel's ideas.
Okay.
I'll probably get it confused with Excel as I'm showing you items because it is so close. Now, see up here at the top, it says Untitled Spreadsheet. If you just click up there anywhere, it'll highlight all of it. If you click twice, it probably puts a cursor up there, and then you can do your backspace or delete to get delete whatever you want. But I'm going to rename this as Sales 2019. Now, we haven't really made any changes yet. Just says Sales 2019 or whatever you named yours. But if you're wondering, how do you go back to that list of all the spreadsheets that you have? And I shouldn't call them spreadsheets, so they call them sheets. But spreadsheet is probably a Microsoft thing. But if I click this green icon over here, that'll take me to my sheets. So that's our sheets home. And what you see down here is you see the spreadsheet we just created, Sales 2019. Now again, if you have any trouble with this, holler and I'll come look see what's going on in your computer.
I have an untitled one, but I renamed it. I didn't enter it or something.
Oh yeah, and that's fine. I don't even know when I created those. Might have been the last class.
Untitled, you've got an untitled also.
Yeah. Or maybe it's there by default. I don't know. Now, you see there's three little dots over here? Three little dots always means that there's going to be a menu that's going to pop down. So if you see those three little dots and you're curious, well, what's that doing? Click it. It's not going to hurt anything. In this case, it popped up. Here's where you could rename it. You could remove it. Open a new tab if you wanted. And there's available offline. I suspect this is for people with a Chromebook. I doubt if you said it's available offline, it would actually work if you didn't have access to the software. I don't know how it would. To get that menu to disappear, you just click any white space here, and it'll go away. Now, Sales 2019 here, if I click that, it'll open it up. I think we determined last time that anytime you make a change, it saves it like within seconds. I think that's what we saw with the document side of it.
Is that saved in the cloud at that point?
Right. And just like Excel, you can put numbers in here. For example, I'm going to type January in this cell right here. Type 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. What I'm doing is I'm pressing enter after each one.
Your comment up there says all changes saved in Drive. Does that still mean the cloud?
Yes. They refer to it as Google Drive.
Okay.
Although there's more to the Google Drive than just a little piece of the spreadsheets.
Okay.
Now, what you should see is some items going across here. It tries to bring up the items that are probably more meaningful to what you're currently doing. This first one here is an undo. That's Control Z, and you should remember that on any program you're using on the computer. That Control Z just does whatever you've messed up. I forgot what I was in earlier today. There was no undo button. There's no little arrow going back. I did Control Z and undid what I'd messed up. So that saves you so much time sometimes. Here's a redo. By the way, this isn't in everything. I shouldn't say that. There's a package called Canvas. Anybody ever hear of Canvas? No. It's for taking courses in, and there's no undo on it. If you delete a student's grades by accident, then there's no undo to get it back. So I don't really like that fact. Had an administrator ask me about it, so I don't like it. I don't like the fact I can't undo. I'm afraid I'll lean on my elbow or something. I'll delete 5 grades, and they're all of a sudden gone. This is redo. I don't use that as much. I guess it's Control Y. If you ask me that, I couldn't tell you without my mouse being over it. So like if I come up here, go ahead and click this right here, the 4000 or whatever number you put in there, and press your delete. Oh, you did? Oh, just click any cell you have numbers in.
Back up to there it is.
Yeah, and press delete.
Delete.
And you should see it disappear then. Now, if we come up here and click this undo, you'll see it undo what you just did. So. Here's a print option. We won't print anything, but if you want to print it, just like the regular spreadsheet, you could. Here's a 100% option. If you have trouble seeing, you can change this to make it bigger. My eyes aren't very good, so 150 is actually more pleasing to my eyes. So you can increase your size that way. Over here, there are some formatting options. If I click this 1000, or if you don't have 1000, click whatever number you have there. If you click this format as currency, it'll put dollar signs, commas, and 2 decimal places. This will format it as percent. It's 100,000%. Here we have more formats over here. If you do the drop down, you see there's accounting, if you're in an accounting field, I suppose. Financial, currency. Some of these don't pertain to the numbers I actually put in. But if I change it to financial, it'd look like that. These 2 buttons right here, increase and decrease decimal places, is if you want to see more decimal places, you just click those, and that'll add more decimal places in there. To get rid of decimal places, you do the decrease. The next box over is Arial, and it doesn't have as wide of a selection fonts as Word, but really who needs 500 fonts? Pacifico, I think, is what I used last time. So I choose that font. You can change the size of it by doing that drop down next to it and choosing like 12, or you can type it in. This one's bold. This one's italics, strike through, and this changes your font color. So if you want it to be a different color, you can change that. You see here
And mine has a line to it.
that you probably click the strike through.
I did.
So if you click it again, it'll take this line off. But yeah, that's some people like that for whatever they're doing. You see there's 3 little dots here. Again, if I choose that, that brings me up some more options. You see here, if I do this drop down, here's a vertical, or is that a vertical? Let's see. Horizontal line. If you choose this one, that's left align, right align, and center. Again, how I got that is I click these three little dots over here.
I'm looking for three little dots, but I'm seeing anything else.
Over here on the far right, do you see that right there?
I haven't.
It's not there if your screen is smaller.
Oh, it isn't.
It lays them all out for you.
Oh, okay. So in fact, I zoomed in.
I have a functions line.
Actually, maybe my screen is.
I'm kind of zoomed in too. At 150%. And I made it 200%, and they're still not there.
You just see all of them, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't see the three dots, that means everything's up on the screen like this.
Right.
Like you see all those.
Right.
I'm going to make mine bigger, though, so you can see what I'm clicking on and so forth. Yeah, don't worry about the three little dots on. Obviously, the only one that has that. Here's a fill color. Blue, yellow. If I choose yellow, see how it fills in the background color? Borders, we'll talk about later. Horizontal line, we talked about. Here's vertical line. That would be if you had your row height different. You can tell it how to place it. Text wrapping, we'll talk more about that. Okay, there's probably nothing about that for time being. Now, this is a really nice tool over here. Looks like a roller off of a paintbrush. And if I have this highlighted and I want to apply that formatting to these other three without doing all those same items, make sure you have whatever you want to copy the formatting from. So I have this selected. I click this paint format, this roller. And now if I click those, it'll apply that formatting. That saves you a lot of time if you're trying to take your formats and apply them to different parts of your spreadsheet. You just copy the formatting. Yeah. Oh, I didn't say it. If you click like this one again, if you do your formatting and you left mouse click and hold down and drag, I should have said that. Then you should see the formatting applied to. No? Let's see.
Paint format and drag. There it is.
Did it? Okay, now January, if I click that, let's say I want to change that a little bit. I'll make that Pacifico. I'll make it 18.
When you paint them, how did you make sure they all stayed and changed? You got yours yellow. I can do that, but I can't make it another.
Fill it down.
Yeah.
You click whichever one you want to copy the formatting from, and you click this roller up here. And once you click that, then you come down and you left mouse click your first cell and hold down your mouse button and drag until you get all of them highlighted.
Okay.
And then you lit up.
Then what?
When you lit up, it should automatically apply the formatting.
It doesn't.
Does it? Let's see.
Well, it does, but then I click out of it and it's all gone.
Really?
I don't know how you got yellow, but
Yeah, click that, and you see or just click the first one, the A2. Now click the, I think it's that one.
This one?
Right. And then choose yellow. Okay, now we got that. So then click your roller. Or no, first click the roller here. There you go. And then click your first one here, your left mouse, and drag down. There you go. And apply it.
Follow their sequence on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Now, down here in the bottom, you see a little plus. And if you put your mouse over it, says Add Sheet. So if you click that, what you'll see appear down at the bottom, it says Sheet 1 and Sheet 2. So that's how you add new sheets to your work, to your spreadsheet. If you click it again, you add a third one. Now to go back and forth between them, if you click Sheet 1, that should take you back to Sheet 1. Click Sheet 2, take you to Sheet 2. Click Sheet 3, go to Sheet 3. And then if you click Sheet 1, it'll go take you back to Sheet 1. Whenever you're in a Windows package and you see a little triangle, I would say it's always pointing down, but that's not true. But if you see a little triangle, that means if you click that, something's going to pop up. It's kind of like the three little dots. And if I click that, you see these are all the things you can do. You can delete that sheet, duplicate it. Duplicate it means it'll copy all of your data, all of your formatting, and so forth. So you don't have to recreate it. You can copy it to a new spreadsheet or to an existing spreadsheet. So if you have this sheet and you want to copy it to another one, that's how you do it. You can rename it. Change the color. I think that changes the color of the tab. I'm going to try it because I'm just curious.
You duplicated in what?
Oh, I haven't done anything duplicate-wise. All I did was change color.
Change color.
And that puts looks like an orange thing in at the bottom. I didn't figure it changed the color of your entire sheet. That'd be horrible. Protect sheets, that's if you want to protect it so that you won't change it by accident. You won't mess it up. You have somebody else using your sheet, and you want to make sure that they don't mess it up. If you were to click that, you can set your permissions on it. And we're not going to go into detail on this. If you're real curious about it, I can have an advanced sheets class and cover that. But if you've set a password before where you protected anything in Word or Excel, same principle. I'm going to cancel out of that. Now I'll click that X to close protected sheets and ranges. And I'll go back to my sheets and do that drop down again. Specifically, one I want to choose is rename. So go to your sheets, do that drop down, and choose rename. The sheet 1 isn't very useful. And I'll say sales January and press enter. Sheet 2, maybe I want it to say February. So I do the drop down and choose rename and sales February. And sheet 3, I'll do the rename and sales March. You can also double click these and rename them. So that's a quick way to do it. So if you double click the name that's currently there, then you can get that pop up and just type whatever you want. Questions so far? Very good. Now this is just some of the options that are available. Did it work?
It says the sheet name cannot be empty, so I'm hitting a key that I'm not supposed to.
Oh. Why don't you just type any name in there? It'll take it. I think there was one in Excel I couldn't use one name. I don't know what it was
I have to keep my hands up.
now.
Or it does something I don't want it to do.
Okay, so you got to rename it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now these are just some of your options here. Also, if you click these across the top, if I click File, you'll notice what's really missing is there's no save. That's a little bit upsetting to me. I'm so used to doing a file save, but it saves it every few seconds. Here's your edit, and you have your undo and redo. You also have your cut, copy, paste special. This is kind of your standard when you want to copy something. For example, let's say I want to copy these cells right here. Now this cell right here is at the intersection of A1. So it's column A and row 1. If I click and hold down and drag down, then you're going to see that everything's highlighted. And you don't have to have everything highlighted. If you just highlight one or two things, you'll see the idea. If you do an edit, copy, that'll copy it to the clipboard. And then if you come to where you want to paste it at, like I go to Sales February, and I'm sitting here in A1, and I do an edit paste, you'll see it pasted over there. So again, you highlight whatever you want to copy. And how I highlight is I hold down click in my first cell, holding down my left mouse button, drag it down wherever I want. You do your edit copy. Notice it's Control C. That's nice to know too for various packages. Then you go to wherever you want to copy it to. You click in the first cell, and you can click Edit, Paste. Good so far?
No, I haven't copied it. I copied it to B under the first sheet.
Oh.
Because I didn't get to the second sheet.
That's fine.
I highlighted it and it won't let me get out of it.
If you press your escape, that'll take the highlighting off.
And it won't let me go to Sales February.
Hit escape. Now click up in January A1 with the left mouse button and hold down on your left mouse button and drag. There you go. Now to do an edit copy. And now go to some tab, doesn't matter which one. You're already in February. Go to March. And then paste it there. So do an edit. And then paste. Save. Now sometimes you don't want to copy everything. Like if I have this, I want to copy it over to the next column. So go back to your sales January. And if you have this highlighted and you do an edit copy, just like Excel, I don't know how they get away with stealing this from Excel. Excel does that. It puts little dots around it to indicate. It's like that's directly stolen from them. But if you click over to this next B1 or C1 or an open cell somewhere, if you do an edit, you see there's a paste special. The first one, paste values only, this will not copy any of the formatting. This, paste format only, that's where it does the same thing as that roller brush. Paste all except borders, paste column widths only, we haven't talked about column widths. Paste formula only, paste data validation only, paste conditional formatting, paste transposed. If I chose paste values only, you see it copies my values but none of my formatting. Sometimes I do that. I'll want to copy the values over because the formatting is just messed up and I want to start over. Now this right here, just like in Excel, these are columns, column A, column B. You'll notice when you put your mouse over A little drop down appears. And if I choose that, you see there's a cut, copy, paste, paste special, insert one left, insert one right, delete column, clear column, hide column, resize column, group column, sort sheet, randomize range, lots of different items here. I think they got a little bit of benefit over Excel. I think it's a little easier in some of this. So if I want to insert one to the left, I choose that option and it puts a new column on the left. If I want to put one over here on the right, I right click on that and say insert one right and put that. I don't think that exists in Excel, does it?
Yeah, you just have to right click. I mean, I do most of my stuff right click.
Just
yeah,
right clicking.
The actual thing of insert left or insert right, that concept doesn't. You literally go in there and you can just insert.
Right. See, I like this better because it's in a drop-down menu for people. If you're good with Excel, then you're right. So sometimes I get confused on Excel.
Like which direction it's going to go? To the left or the right?
Right. Like when I'm pasting something in, I'm thinking it's going to shift everything to the right, and I think it does. But yeah, if you have that right there, you have to.
Like if you put 1, 3, or if you put 3, 4, 6, 7, and you forgot your 5, and you wanted to insert 5, for example, or just insert there.
Right. Yeah. So like right here, you'd right click and choose insert. Yeah. Row. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to insert it to the left.
Yeah, so I mean,
have it,
I guess that is one advantage. I guess I didn't think about that.
And a drop down is so nice on that. I know you right click the same because kind of drop down, but it just doesn't seem as many options. Now they're all there. You just have to look harder for them.
Yeah, I mean, even the Google Docs was like, oh, that has some cool features that I'm not looking at as opposed to Word.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they just don't steal their ideas from Google like Google did from Excel, but yeah, choosing that drop down there, very easy way to delete column, clear column, whatever you want to do there. Now, you see when you put your mouse up here, especially between A and B, it becomes a double line with arrow on each side, so double arrow. If you click and hold down, and I clicked and held down my left mouse button, you can resize the column. If you try to double click it like you do in Excel, it'll resize it just like Excel. It'll resize it based upon your data in there. So all I did again is the columns where I had data. When it's it's a black arrow with arrow or black line with arrows on each side, you just double click it and it'll resize it for you. Let's see.
I can move it, but it didn't do it automatically.
You got a column that has data in it?
Column has data in it.
Yeah, like this one. Yeah, move it over some. Yeah, double click. There it goes.
Yeah. Just switch.
It doesn't have data in it, it won't resize it.
No, it won't.
Right.
So I tried that with A and it didn't do anything. I thought it would take it down to a minimum size. It doesn't.
You can still move it.
You can still move it, yes. And if I do the drop down and I scroll down, although you probably don't have to scroll down, you'll see there's a resize column option here. And you can tell it to fit the data. That's kind of like double clicking it. You can also put a value in here. I could say 50. A pixel, you can think of it as like a dot on your monitor. So when it says 100 pixels, that's a default size. And I click OK and resize that. And this one I can do the drop down, resize column. If I click fit the data here and click OK, again, that's the same thing as double clicking it. I'm not sure if those have a whole lot of use. I think it's pretty fast if you got 10 columns you want to do, just to double click them like that. But if you're just doing one column, it's not that hard just to go into the menu or move it manually. But if you got 10 pages worth of data, you don't know which one's the biggest one. So it does have its use there.
You can highlight all of them at one time and double click it and then resize all of them to the fit. Yeah, if you highlighted A, B, C, D, and all, if you highlight and double click it all.
Yes. I knew it did in Excel. I couldn't remember about Google Sheets. Oh.
I was trying to compare everything that I've been doing.
Yeah, it's got a lot of the same ideas. Now over here on our rows, I can again, when it's between two rows, then it becomes a double line with two arrows, and you can click and hold down, and you can resize it like that. Between 2 and 3, over here in the far left, when it becomes the black line with two arrows, click and hold down with your left mouse button and pull down and make it bigger.
It should kind of be like the columns where it gives you the up and down arrows. And once you get the little up, kind of hover till you get the up and down arrows, then you know you got it, and you click and yeah.
When I get the up and down.
Sometimes it can be
Up and down arrow like that. Yeah, the up and down arrow, then click your left mouse button and then move your mouse down.
Now pull it, now drag it.
There you go.
just get it really long, you know. And I came in and then I finally got a narrow.
Sometimes it's kind of tricky. I mean, if you don't hit it just the right spot.
Yeah, I have that in trouble with Excel because I move my mouse a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be sitting home. I don't know if I got some kind of disorder or what, but I'll just like start clicking. Maybe I'll do that. Like you got a screen up and you find yourself just clicking every now and then. No, I'm sitting there. Stop, stop! And I have to take my hand off my mouse. I guess it was just me. Have you done that? Yeah, it's just
I
like
accidentally double clicked when I didn't really mean to, like I was pointing on it and then I didn't mean to double click there, but not just.
no. This I'm just sitting here reading something on the screen. And I click. Every 45 seconds or something. It's just like I have to really focus on that.
It does sound like a disorder.
Yeah. It's annoying because all of a sudden you be flipped over to another page and whoa, and then you have to go back and. Again, if you double click this, it'll resize it, just like the columns. If I have that pulled down and resize like this, and I choose one of my data here, you see there's this vertical line, and this says bottom, that says top, that'll put it at the top, and this puts it exactly in the middle. And that's the, I don't know what it looked like. Probably on yours it looks like an arrow pointing down to a line to begin with. And then when you choose that option, it'll change it to one of these three.
So it won't do the same option again.
No, like if I choose this one, it'll now look like that on my screen. So that's nice if you're trying to get it to look a certain way. I like this one, text rotation. It's a little A with a line underneath it. If you choose the drop down there, you can rotate how you want your text to look. So if I choose, well, 1000 is probably not good to do it on. Let me go to January. I'm going to click January, and then I'm going to rotate it down like that. This is a way you can make it look fancy. And also, if you're trying to conserve space, you can maybe get a little bit more out by having to go at a slant.
You see that a lot, like my order forms.
The what?
Like order forms, when somebody like the cookie dough or whatever, and you go up there and it's like just enough you can read it this way, but you're supposed to have a narrow thing.
Right. Yeah, there's is interesting how some of the ways you can do the like you say this way or that way. There's a it's a makeup test form for another college I've taught at, and they have it completely sideways. I'll be sitting there trying to type the person's name, and I'm tilting my head because I can't read sideways, when I'm this way. So yeah, sometimes it's annoying. And they got it locked down so you can't change it. You can also, over here, do a custom angle. So if you choose that, you can choose one of these. If you type in a value, like -33, so you can put in whatever custom you want there. Now, -33, +33, I don't know. I just try one. If it doesn't look right, I try the negative version of it. So like if I set a +33, I think I like that better.
This has to do with angles, is that?
Right. And I think it's based upon this being 0 degrees, 33 degrees would be like that, -33 degrees would be down like that. I teach trig every now and then, so I shouldn't have to really think too hard on that. But say I just try one, see if it works. Okay. So now the borders that we have here. If I click January and I click the borders here, I can tell it outside border. This wouldn't make much sense for that one, but the left border, top border, right border, bottom border. If I choose that, you see the border it gives me may not be what I'm expecting because my data is at an angle, isn't it? But really, that's what you want the border to look like. This one down here, if I choose the borders and choose this one here, it's no longer at an angle. It's just like a normal rectangle like you'd expect. And as you can probably imagine, if you select multiple ones, and how I selected those, I clicked my left mouse button, held down, and dragged and highlighted something. Then if you choose the borders here, this is all borders here. So if I choose that, that'll do my all borders. I love borders myself when I'm working in Excel. I'm going to resize that so I can see more of it. Because when I print it, then it looks like there's order to my data. I hate having the blank. Everybody get borders of some sort?
Does Excel have that angle possibility?
Yeah, it does. Of course, this will be whether I can remember where it's at.
You can do, I think it's right, your orientation to the degrees to the right.
Oh, here it is. Like that. Well, that's not as easy as.
Not as easy. I was noticing. I thought it was a lot easier. That is a true statement. It's not as easy.
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, Excel has that feature. If you're wondering where it's at in Excel, I went into the home, the font, and did this little whatever that is, arrow down there, and I went to alignment, and then over here. Yeah. Let's see. We talked about vertical alignment now. The text wrapping. This is my document. It is well done. It took a while. So I type in some text there. Now I typed that in F1 right here. In G1, let's say I put some numbers, 1,000. You see, I don't see all my my text, do I? Let's see, text wrapping down here. If you choose that, this is overflow. This is wrap. That's probably, I think, one of the more useful ones because you can just have it wrapped down so you can see everything you put into that cell, in theory. I find these still are kind of flaky if you got a really long that has no spaces in it. It doesn't work quite like you might think. Let's see if that's true with Google Sheets. That's not bad.
It's all in that F1 block.
All in that F1 block. And notice it resized the row height to accommodate that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't done that in Excel for a while. But like when I paste a URL, like a web page link in there, it seems like it doesn't do the wrapping quite right.
How did you get all those letters and numbers in there?
Oh, I just
Type them.
randomly typed.
Just typed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. So I'm gonna again go up here to my paintbrush, apply it to this. That's not bad actually.
Widen it to make it a little, so it's not pixel.
So it won't fly by it.
All the way
There it
to
goes.
the-
Yeah, that's not bad. What I did is if you had a website you wanted to put in here, you just come up here, you click up there and you right click and copy or control C, and then you just paste it in here. So there's really nothing you have to do special to get a link to appear in there. Although there is a link option.
So it automatically wraps it when you do that?
No, I took the format of here and I pasted it in there. So now over here, we got 1,000 through 4,000. And you see those little E looking symbol here. That's for functions. And if I do the drop down, it's got a wide array of functions. And I swear these are almost the same ones you see over in Excel. So again, how they get by with using that. And if you're used to the formulas in Excel, I haven't compared all of them, but they sure look very similar. Like statistical ones, average. Yeah, they put a lot of effort into this. Okay. Now, I'm going to click down here right below my numbers. And then I'll come up here and click this. And again, you come up with options there. If you just click that's interesting. We'll come up with my default ones.
Oh, you just scroll to the bottom. You scroll up and you'll get the sum.
Oh, there it was.
Oh, I'm looking at that.
Yeah, and so you can find it in all would definitely be everything. So yeah, you got your sum here. Now it pops up and it just like Excel kind of has the same type of principle. You put in your range of values here, and you see it gives you an example, A2 colon A100. For this data here, my data starts at D2 and goes to D5. So I would type D2 colon D5. Now as you do that, you should see the highlighting change on those cells. See how it's orange and it's orange down here? They're trying to show you what did you pick exactly. And they even give you the answer. So you can see the answer here before you press enter. Now if I press enter, it gives me 10,000. Now the true power of these formulas these functions, is that it's dynamic. If I come up here and change the number now, if I change that to 3,000, you will automatically see it change down here. Now you don't have to do sum. By the way, if you highlight something and you simply press your delete, that'll clear it out. Probably, if I right click on it, you see there's a cut, but there's also, looks like delete cells. And you tell whether shift left, shift up. If I do shift up, So multiple ways you can delete. Probably the easiest, just press your delete key. But if it doesn't shift like you want, like if I want to delete this 2000 here, and I didn't want it to shift up, then I probably need to tell it something else. Okay. Now I got equals sum here. If I come up here and click, I can modify this formula. I clicked where I put my formula at. And then I'm going to click up here. You see where it says FX? If I click to the right of the formula, I can edit this formula in place. So if I want to change that to D3 colon D5, only add those. And then press enter.
But you can't do it down where the total is, where your answer is. You can't do it on that cell.
I think there is somewhere I saw where it said show formulas.
Double click it, you can redo it. If you double click in there.
There it is.
Now you
Yeah.
Can you double click it?
You double click it, it'll bring up the formula and you can change it right down there. There's also some place where it says show formulas. I swear I saw that. Oh, show formulas.
So mine doesn't show the answer. I mean, it shows the answer, but let's see.
It shows it, but it doesn't allow you to change it unless you double click it again.
Yeah.
So I guess double clicking is the key there.
But if I hit the sum up high up above, then it shows it down there too.
Right.
On view, okay, what'd you do? View, show form. Where did you go? On view?
Under view, show formulas.
Oh, I'm trying to highlight my whole sheet so it would show me all my formulas. I guess you can't do that. That's what I was trying to do. Oh wait, yeah.
It should work either way.
Never mind, I was wrong. Mine. Yeah, that's really cool to be able to do the whole sheet and show formulas because there are times when you don't realize, like even a little bit ago when you said 9,000, you only did 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many times you can mess yourself up if somehow you just pop and you go, oh, that's the problem. That's why that's not adding up, is because that one isn't taking all the way up to row 2.
Right. And that's what's really nice. If you come here and you double click that, it shows in orange what does it affect.
Right. But if you don't know what's wrong where, and you're like, okay, where's the similarities, where's the differences, and you can go, that's the one that's different. It's not.
Right. No, that is I like that. I do like that feature. Didn't used to be that way in Excel way back when.
See, I don't even.
Yeah, they added that in Excel over here in the formulas tab. There's a show formulas option now. If you turn that on, that shows you all the formulas. But that when we showed that in class, I seen it mess up more people than it was worth. Yeah, because people, if you leave that on, then people weren't getting the values they were expecting.
Right. I think for me, I've only ever used it like when I'm like auditing, and
Right.
I'm trying to figure out why, where's the problem. I mean, I've got this all the way I want it, yet I'm not getting what I want, and then that shows you, okay, what's my input values, or
Right.
my formulas.
And that's what I love about Excel with what they added in there, is when they added these trace features, where it puts the arrows in there. Those are just invaluable for formulas.
I was gonna say, those are some things I probably need to know how to do in Excel, but that's okay. We're using Excel.
Remind me at the end, I'll show it to you. It won't take 2 or 3 minutes. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Because, well, like you, it's like you could sit there forever trying to figure out how your formulas are interconnected. And it just saves a lot of time. Now, if I come down here, if I start typing equals sum, I should shut off my double line there. I start typing and it comes up and you see all the different things that start with sum. And then I do my beginning parentheses and I can type in D2 colon D5 closing parentheses.
No, wait. if you stop at sum,
Mm-hmm.
mine comes up with a whole list, but it also comes up with the right one.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's suggested. So it's got the right one there with all the other possibilities.
Exactly. It assumes some of these other ones doesn't make any sense because of what they need for their
Got the right one down at the bottom. Okay.
right.
See,
I want to
Excel,
take that
Excel
formatting out.
usually will do that. Like when you hit sum, it's saying it looks at the things that have, and it says, "Hey, are you wanting to sum this?"
Mm-hmm.
This just suggests, but it doesn't highlight. I was expecting that here, and it wouldn't do that. So I was like, why isn't it? Because usually I hit sum at the bottom of a row thing and hit enter. I don't even have to think about it.
Oh,
And
right.
here I actually had to go highlight them or type them in, or else it wouldn't do it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I told it to view the equal sum D2D3 and I can't get it out of there. How did I get it out of there?
If you press escape, I'll get you out of that. No, sure enough, there's no option there to.
If it comes out, I know it is.
Did it? You never can mess anything up on any Windows package if you know that Control Z. That just saves you so much and everything. Yeah. Now, if I type equals sum and then beginning parentheses, and I click and hold down and drag from D2 down to D5 in my case, you do not have to type that range in, which is easier than to sit there and do D2 colon D5. And I wonder if it'll put the closing parentheses on me if I just press enter. Yeah, it was smart enough to do that. Again, what I did there is I started typing equals sum, beginning parentheses, and then I click and hold down what I want to sum, and that'll fill in the range. And then you do a closing parentheses, or you can just press enter.
You do that across too.
You can do it across too. Good so far? Now, if I come up here and I do my drop down and I choose my sum or whatever function I'm looking for, you see how it comes up here with parentheses already there? And then I can click and hold down and drag the range I want to do. So you don't even have to do the equal, sum, beginning parentheses, and so forth. You just click whatever function and then fill it in. And then press enter. And that'll add them together. Now to the right of this, I want to do February, and I want to put in some more numbers. Everybody get some numbers in there? Okay. Now I got this formula here, and it says D2 colon D5. And I really want it to add to this column also. You notice that if I click this cell where my formula is, in the bottom right hand corner, it's really pronounced in, maybe it's because I got my sheet so big. But in Excel, it's a little harder to see. But you see there's a square down in the bottom right hand corner. If I click with my left mouse button and hold down and drag it over to the right, what you'll see is it will fill that formula over. And if I click over here at E6 now, it'll say sum of E2 colon E5.
I'm not getting it to put numbers in. I just have formulas because that's what I'm viewing.
Oh, you got the formulas on?
That's where he said it causes you more trouble than you, it's worse sometimes if you don't have the view on the right thing.
Yeah, that's an Excel. I don't know how many people had so many trouble with
Oh, did that do that? Or was that in here?
Very good at it, but it gives me the formulas. And I can enter, and it doesn't.
Okay, now go up to your view. And you see where it says show formulas? Click that. It shuts out. There you go. I learn new stuff each day, and then I forget it also. It's like a constant battle with me.
Well, I use this a lot with, or I did for a few years with doing a spreadsheet for my Avon.
Oh, did you? Using the Google Sheets?
I did Excel.
Oh, Excel. Yeah. Yeah, and they're so close that, yeah. Now you see that there's a freeze here. That's under view. And you can say no rows, 1 row, 2 rows, up to current row. If I say freeze 1 row, so I did a view, freeze, 1 row. Then if I scroll down, you'll always see that 1 row showing.
That's easier than Excel.
Yeah, that's
Excel, it's just a matter of putting your cursor or go into the
right.
you want to be on.
Yeah, and it's not always real clear that where you're freezing it is a row and column to the left of it and above it.
Yeah, so that feature seems easier on here.
Now, if you want to unfreeze it, you come up View, Freeze, and you say no rows. And so now that's gone, and so if you scroll down, you won't see that first row frozen anymore. Now, it does give you a total flexibility. Like if I'm down here and I'm at row 3, if I do View, Freeze, and it says up to current row, this is wherever your cursor is sitting. So if I choose that option, it'll freeze the first 3 rows. So I think it is a little bit easier to up to the current row, the one I'm sitting on.
I do a lot of stuff where I need to freeze the top and side.
Oh, yeah.
Below it. And that's hard to get Excel set up.
Yeah, Excel's a little.
It is. It's a little tricky. Yeah. Especially I like this. Well, at least it's really pronounced on mine because it's so big. But like if I freeze the first row, it's really obvious what's frozen. It's got that.
You could choose both in there, right? You could do column A and first row.
Correct. Like there, I just froze the row, but now if I go and freeze 1 column,
yeah, you can do both. Okay, cool.
Then it's froze this first row and this first column. And like I said, you scroll to the right.
That's easier than Excel.
Excel's difficult. I can get it done, but it's hard.
There it goes. And freeze no rows, freeze no columns. I already talked about the zoom, full screen. I never liked that. It's always a challenge for me to get back menus. I'm sitting there sometimes. It's like, how do I get them back? And I start pressing escape, hoping this comes back. And I usually avoid that like the plague. Um, you can insert charts. We're not going to go into that. Image, drawing. The form we'll talk about later on. Here's functions, links, new sheet. Let's see if there's anything else exciting here before we. Some alignment issues there. Clear formatting. If you want to clear out all the formatting, you can highlight whatever, and you choose clear formatting, and that gets rid of the formatting. You see it's got a pivot table, some data validation, filter views, sort sheet. Okay. I definitely want to get to the form, so that's what we'll take a look at. Questions on any of that so far?
When you sort, can you customize it, or is it always going to be the selections you've got there? You can format it, you can customize it. I have sort my big sheet and then, but not the first column.
I'm trying to think if it'll do about the best it'll do. I'm trying to think what Excel does. Is if you do your data sort range, you can tell it to sort by, well, if you have a header row, you can tell it you have a header row. But you can tell it to sort by column A, and that's ascending. And then you can click add another sort column. Mm-hmm. And then you can sort by B if I had a B. I don't have a B. That's about the best it gets. I think Excel has more features than that, if I remember right, doesn't it? Yeah. It'll at least let you sort by like first this column and then this column.
I mean, you can still filter, but sorting, I mean, even in Excel, the sorting smallest to largest, largest to smallest, and then custom sort really has to do with. I guess you can do certain values. Oh yeah, you can sort by like cell color and stuff too.
Right.
You can filter by cell color and stuff. So I wonder if it offer
that. Sorting by it?
Filtering and sorting, because Excel offers both by the cell colors.
I've never seen it in here, but that doesn't mean it isn't there somewhere.
I would sort by C, which is my C with my January in it, and you put my January at the bottom. How do I put it back to the top?
Oh, Control Z. Or you can do this arrow right here, this undo. Now put it back to the top.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't see anything beyond that sorting. I never have run across it when I've worked with this. But then again, I learned. I wonder if it'd be under conditional formatting. No sorting there. Now let's say I want to save this. Of course, it's been saved. So we just simply have to go back to Sheets Home. And then back to here. I click the green icon. Now the Google Apps up here. If you click the 9. Yeah, that green sheet there. Then if I click the 9 squares here, you probably won't see it anywhere here. But you do see when you scroll down, see where it says Sheets, add a shortcut? It's a pain for you to go into all those each time. So they have a feature here, such if you click add a shortcut, it will now be in your list of apps. That's very handy. Now we're looking for forms, and I'm guessing you won't see forms anywhere on your page. So I'm going to go down to even more from Google. So again, I click the 9 squares here, and I scroll down clear to the bottom, and click the even more from Google. This was brand new to me. I learned how to do this over the weekend, and I thought this is fantastic. I was excited. I get excited easy. Let's see. I'm in my products. I'll go to all products. Probably if you scroll clear to the bottom, you'll see that if you don't see that link. Yeah, it isn't across the top. You have to scroll down. It's a little.
That's where I got messed up earlier. I was like, I can't find out all the bottom.
Well, I thought it was across the top originally because I was looking. It's like, what happened to it? It was across the top. But the forums is what I'm going to, and I thought this was really nice. So if you click the forums here, takes you back to this page, and you see there's a go to Google Forms. If I click that, what a form is allows you to gather data. Like, let's say you wanted to send it to everybody in your organization, and you want to gather data. It'll give them a form to fill out, and then it'll populate a spreadsheet for you automatically. If are you in education?
No.
No. I don't know what made me think you're a teacher.
No, I'm in auditing.
Oh, okay. Well, you see there's a start new form here, just like most other items. They're kind of all follow standard. If I click the plus here, you see it says Untitled Form up here. You could click there and type whatever you want. Information gathering. Then you see there's a form description. You can put that on there if you want. Down here, it gives you one question to begin with. And so I could click this untitled question. And you see it says multiple choice, but I could say, what is your name? Question types magically update based on your question. It assumed that multiple choice did not make sense for what is your name. And again, you see there's 3 little dots there. Now,
The untitled question goes to that blank. I clicked on it and it's not doing it in.
I think if they had colors there to really differentiate it, probably make it easier. Okay. Yeah. And then just start typing. Whatever you want. There you go.
Your stuff across the bottom, I have on the side.
Yeah, I noticed that on hers. It's because I made my screen so big.
Uh,
I'm thinking. Yeah, this little bar I have across the bottom, that's on the side on yours. To have a new question, you see there's a plus here, and if you put mouse over, it says add question. And maybe this is what is your favorite TV show? Now it says short answer. If I don't want short answer, I can do the drop down there, and I can choose multiple choice. And I can click here and type MASH. I can click. I don't watch a lot of TV. Law and Order. I watch Law and Order. I have it on constantly, but I don't actually watch it. What's another TV show? As bad as I can think of two.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. And you just keep clicking add option if you want to add more, or you could, or you, like you see it says, or add other. So I could choose add other. You see those other options down here, add title and description, add image, add video, add section. So you can make it pretty fancy in terms of your forms. I shouldn't say pretty fancy, but based on some of the forms I've received from like SurveyMonkey and things like that, they really aren't very fancy, period. Up here at the top, you see there's a customized theme. There's also a send, and there's a more option. I just scroll to the top. And I see there's a preview, so you can preview it, see what it looks like. Settings, undo, star, make a copy, move to folder. Anyway, I'll go back to this forms home. And I don't know why this is different, but see how there's a back arrow? I think that'd be consistent. If Sheets has a little green, document, you think that'd be a purple form. But if you click that, that'll take you back to your form here. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see recent forms, and you'll see the one you just created. You see there's 3 little dots here. You could rename it, remove it, open a new tab. If I rename that, I could say this is my information gathering. Click OK.
I have to get back. I'm in Untitled Forms.
Let's see. If you're in the form here,
Untitled Forms.
then you see up here in upper, you can scroll clear to the top, and you'll see a little arrow.
Oh,
And I'll take you back to your, assuming that's an arrow on your.
that screen you just had up there, the information gathering one up in the right-hand corner. It had it has that arrow, split arrow thing. Mine doesn't have that.
Oh, really?
It's got the word send, but it doesn't have that. And it's got a settings thing, and it's got a preview button. It's quite a bit different than yours.
Probably looks like that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I just got mine. Can everybody see that all right? Too small?
No, I can see it now. I mean,
Oh, I mean just my screen.
No.
No? Okay, let me make it big again. But yeah, it looks different because I have mine, a little bit different. Now you see there's a responses here. And this would be if we're, if you had somebody respond, you could see it here. But even more than that, you see there's a create spreadsheet over here. Now again, I click the responses here. You see you can download your responses. You could delete all your responses. Select your response destination, get email notifications for new responses. A lot of options. Like if you wanted to be notified when somebody filled out your form, then you set this. The response destination, if I click the create spreadsheet here, this will create a spreadsheet where that data will be saved. So what I did there is I clicked this little green sheet looking thing. It'll by default be called this, and that's fine. And now I click create.
So, okay, I'm just skipping over, because my head has to do this logistically.
Uh-huh.
I've got this form, and what I do, I saved it out on my Google Drive and said, hey, everybody, I want you to fill this out.
You'll send them a link, yes.
Okay, so you send them a link, and then they go fill it out, and then I can go back in there and see my responses either there
or in a spreadsheet.
Or I can put it on a spreadsheet. Okay, just trying to follow you.
Now, my question, though, that I'm wondering about is when you create a spreadsheet, will it put it in both places? So I haven't tried that, so we'll see.
Yeah. They send you an email, but is it going to import that data into your spreadsheet?
Yeah.
So you would have it saved.
I think it'll be in both places.
That's what I'm thinking.
But see if I do the drop down here. You see the select response destination. That brings up this spreadsheet we just did. Or you can put it in an existing spreadsheet. Let's see, is there anything else? Nothing there, I guess. Okay, so we just made that connection to that in the spreadsheet, didn't we? Now, you see there's a send option here. And this is where I can send it to people. For example, I could send it to Cali CIS student 02 at gmail.com. Control C. What if I have to have a semicolon there? One, two. I can't count. 3, 4, 5. 3 and 5. 5. 6 and 7. So here you put whatever email addresses. Give it a subject. Include the form in the email. So you could do that. You see, you can also embed into a web page. Like if I had an accounting page that on the intranet, you could put it there where everybody could go. If you had intranet for your police department, you could have it as a link on a page. But I'll do an email. That's interesting. It looks like you could post it on Facebook even. Did you have a send box?
Is it one? Is it 1, 2,
No.
3, 4?
1, 2, 3.
That one doesn't count.
No, it didn't count. At first, that wouldn't come on, so I figured it was dead.
Oh, it's on now.
Yeah, then I was thinking, well, maybe it's completely dead battery-wise, so I plugged it in over there at last. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so now I got those in there. I'm not going to include the form in the email, and I'll go ahead and click send. I should have sent it to myself. Now,
I need to get back to that screen.
back to your mail.
Questions and responses.
Oh.
I'm in the sheets. And I don't have information gathering.
COWLEY.
Oh, the email?
Yeah.
Cali CIS student 01 or 0203 at gmail.com. Across the top here, you see the tab there?
Yes.
Click the purple one there. That'll take you back. There you go.
They wouldn't let me send without something in there.
Yeah, the email. I don't know why I made it so long. It's a 0 at gmail.com. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 6, and 7. Now, some of you should have received an email from me. Oh, hopefully. You see it. Your email should be in a tab still here across the top. So you just come over here to click the email, and you'd see your link here. And two of you filled out your information already. And it dynamically updates it. That was, I thought, was the really interesting part. So when I was playing with it this weekend, it wasn't like I had to refresh it or anything. It just disappeared. And it was almost immediate. So fantastic way to gather data, including that with sheets. Now the question is it over here? Yeah. It is over here. So it puts it in both places. Over here, it looks like it gives you a little bit more information. I didn't actually play with this over the weekend. What's over here?
I had 2 things in there, but they didn't show up. The 2 responses. 0 responses.
Are you Cali instructor?
Cali CIS instructor at gmail.com. Yeah, you wouldn't have any responses unless you sent your form out to everybody else and they filled it out. You wouldn't see anything there.
I'm trying to send mine over.
I got something.
Yeah.
Information gathering. Okay, so I'll click that. I think I clicked it. Okay, fill out form. Sitcom, educational. Like drama. David.
No, I must not have paid attention to what order I put in questions.
Okay, I just submitted that. Now, I have not played with SurveyMonkey yet, but I like this and the fact that it stores it automatically in a spreadsheet for you. Maybe SurveyMonkey does that. I don't know. But this just seems so cool how it integrates the two.
I used SurveyMonkey probably like 7 to 9 years ago, probably on some for Project.com, and it was a little bit of work. This is pretty awesome.
Right. It's pretty easy to integrate the two together.
When I built that one, it was a little more trouble. This is awesome.
And there's also a feature, if you're over in a spreadsheet, like if I'm over here, let's see if I can remember where I saw that. And you got a spreadsheet here. Under the tools, you see how there's a create a form? So you create it from within your spreadsheet. Now I wanted to show it the other way just to demonstrate you don't have to be in a spreadsheet to gather data because it doesn't have to actually go over to a spreadsheet. But if I do tools, create a form here.
It kicks you right in.
Right. And it
Automatically names it.
automatically connects the two together. Makes it even easier. So if you are going to do it in a spreadsheet, you do it straight from that option over there in the sheets. So.
I'm so gonna torment my coworkers this week with this now. I'm so excited.
And then, of course, you fill all this out. You don't have to make that connection, where it's going to. I expect you can still. Oh, here.
Now, so do the recipients have to be using Google Docs to do it? I mean, say you're not a Google Docs person, not really been into that. I mean, you have Gmail.
Shouldn't need to. Because
you get an email and you're just on your Outlook, Microsoft Outlook.
They can still take it.
They should be able to still take it. Yes. Unless you embed it in the form. If you embed it in the email, I'm guessing they have to be on Gmail. For example, when I create that, like if I go back to my questions here, this is my favorite TV show and what's your name, and there's an option here. No, there's an option somewhere where you could tell it to the send. I bet the send here says include form and email. I'd almost bet that this has to be a Gmail account for this to work. But that's only if you embed the form right within your email. Like if I choose that and I send this to myself. You see how it puts the form right in here?
Oh, okay.
So it's not going external. I'm just in the Google land there. It's an external page. That's fine.
Oh, so before there was just a button for you to say fill out form, and then it took you there.
Correct. Yeah, so it took you to an external page where you fill it out. This it embeds it right within the email. I haven't tried, so maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see how I could send it to my Outlook and it'd have everything that needed for every mail client. And then again, that updates it, right away. Now, at this point, this is a spreadsheet, and you can do whatever you want with it. Like if I have this and I want to do some sorting on it, then I can come up here and sort range. It has header rows. I can sort by what is your name, ascending. And then I can sort by what's your favorite TV show, ascending. And click sort. And then it'll sort by name here first and then your TV show here. Now that should not mess it up. So if any new data comes in, it should still be fine. I don't know if this will let me fill it out again. Let's see.
So at the top of that spreadsheet, is there any way you can sort that by the name under below? And could you in column B, could you sort by, they had 3 Davids, could you sort just on David or by the last name?
It'll sort it, probably sort it good. Let's see if that's a true statement.
I can do that with Excel.
David Allen. Now, see how it's got that? And so if I highlight it, and I choose my data and sort range, data is header rows, and choose what is your name, by sort what is your name, and then then sort it by what's your favorite TV show. It should work fine, just like you might expect. Um, but I don't know how it'll work if you had something like let's see how it works. I'm hoping it works fine. David Smith or David Allen Smith. Submit that. Data, short range, and your name. What's your favorite TV show? Sort. I guess it did fine. Some packages get confused when you got lowercase versus uppercase letters, but this appears to do it just fine. So now in terms of splitting these apart, short of using a formula, I'm not sure how you do it. That now there is a way to split those apart based upon the delimiter, right? That's where a part of your design is. You'd probably want to actually put those in separate columns, and also gather email addresses, so you can maybe email out everybody who participated. And if you have it in a sheet here where they put in their email address, like if I come back, let's see, I got 5 responses now. Gives me a little graph of what everybody likes. You could copy this chart and paste it into like a document, or probably into a sheet also. But if I come over here and your email address, suggestion, enable email collection editing setting. I wonder what that means. Enables automatic collection of emails, allowing you to track responders and I suppose you could do that, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It does place it up here at top, doesn't it? So yeah, if you grab that and move it down, see the little dots there? That's how you can rearrange it. That's curious. I have to grab this one, move it up. Okay, got the email address down there now. Now I should automatically save that. So now if I do a send and send that to myself again. And fill out the form. David Hayes, Big Bang Theory, email address david.hayes@cali.edu. Submit. Submit another response. Bill Hayes, MASH. Bill Hayes@cali.edu. So I got my email addresses now. I was wondering if there's like a where you can select them and do email. I guess that'd be too easy. But if you have these highlighted, you can right click on it, say copy, and then go over here and paste this in, and then you can send that. So, not as slick as I would hope. I would have hoped that you could select these and right click on it. And
well, that's what I wonder what that option would have been when you were setting up the questionnaire, when you said it automatically set it up as on the questionnaire when you were setting it up. I don't think you selected that.
Oh, where to email me?
The feature that it offered. Like if you I don't think they reset up the email option.
Was that
No, just on the actual question.
Oh, on the question.
Yeah, when you were setting up the question initially for the email address, that one
Uh-huh.
there, it had asked you something and you chose not to do it, but I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your email? Hopefully it recognizes as a new question now.
Okay.
There it is.
To enable email collection setting. I wonder if that.
This form will collect email addresses. But
I don't know what. I didn't know if maybe that was an option to.
Oh, there it put that up here. It has to be a valid email address.
Oh.
So and it notifies them this is collecting email. So it's just I guess
so it's just letting you know that if you mistype something and didn't put at or something. Okay. So
right.
I was hoping maybe that was just an additional feature as opposed to. Okay.
Setting. Limit to one response. That's nice.
Yeah.
That way you don't have somebody filling out 10 like I was sitting there doing.
Talking about skewing your results.
They can see the summary charts and text responses. Show progress bar. Give them a message. Your response has been recorded. Make this a quiz. Assign point values. Suppose if you're a teacher, then you could send that out and they could fill it out and you could grade them on whether they got it right or not.
You know, like every year we have to do like this little questionnaire, like HIPAA,
Yeah.
sure. And so we have to pass the test every year. And I'm just like, I wonder, it would be so much easier if they did it this way. Because you could click all that stuff. I mean,
it'd be easy to collect. Yeah, we do that at Cali. They have us. One time they had us watch a bloodborne film. And, yeah, and they could have sent a video, and you had to watch it, and then, you mark in the form that, hey, I watched the video, and send it back. Because most people weren't watching the video. They were just screwing off on their phones or something like that, and they just had to sign a piece of paper.
Questions at the end, and if you didn't get at least 8 out of 10 right, then you got to do it again.
Right. Yeah, and there's good packages for doing that in, but they're expensive. This is free, so that's a benefit of that. If you're working with your organization, your church group, whatever it is, it's a very easy way to gather input from everybody, assuming they're using email.
And there's nothing similar to this with Microsoft packages. I mean, this is a Google Drive, Google.
There is something similar to it in Microsoft, but I haven't played with it yet. I'm learning myself.
I was just curious. I didn't even notice. When you said forms, I didn't know what we were talking about. So this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know everything about this yet myself because I was playing with forms this last weekend, and when I saw I could connect it so easily to a spreadsheet, it's like, oh, this is fantastic for gathering data. We do things backwards here at Cali, unfortunately, and sometimes the way they gather data is like emails, and then emails get lost and so forth, and this is a very centralized way to gather data. All ties together.
You don't have to keep building something separate and then link it all together.
Yeah.
Right.
It links from itself.
Exactly.
And it's easy for the user, so you're more likely to get a quicker response.
Yeah. And I'll have to play with the Facebook part on this, but if you can put that on Facebook, if you had a group and you wanted to get like a police department, you wanted to get feedback from the community, that'd be a way you could gather feedback anonymously and and then get what they think about this idea or that idea. I'm just spitballing. I have no clue if that's even something.
Well, we do. I mean, right now we send out citizen satisfaction letters.
Okay.
And we'll pick a day of each month, and whatever activity was created on that particular day, we'll send out a letter addressed to someone that made a report.
Mm-hmm.
We may or may not get a letter back.
Mm.
you know, we could send out 20 letters and be lucky if we get 3 or 4.
Right.
So, and you know, we do have a Facebook page, which is really kind of, you know, we're up to par now,
Right.
but for the longest time we didn't have that. So you could tie some of this stuff in, like you said, to the public, let them know, hey, we're still human, kind of deal,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, and it just even if it's nothing's done with the data, just the fact that you're asking makes people feel good.
Well, we do, we log it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a way of, especially if you've got a particular officer that maybe dealt with somebody on that day.
Uh-huh.
It gives the feedback to the chief,
Oh, okay.
whether it be good or bad.
Right.
And then, you know, they sit down with that officer, hey, here's a pat on the back, you helped this guy change a tire. We thought that was fantastic, and he wrote in and said that you did a great job. So the data is, we're still pen and paper type instead of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, reaching out in public this way.
Right.
Again, you save money on
Postage
and the
yeah.
printing and the whatever, and then and people are just more likely to just give a quick answer this way,
Yeah.
and type something out rather than.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You said good satisfaction, and I was just like, I've never been asked my satisfaction in the police department. I'm like, oh, I want instance. I didn't know what
You gotta cut a case for something here.
It looks like you just simply click the share form via Facebook. And that takes you over to Facebook.
Look at that.
And then you could post it. I won't post that. My friends will wonder what in the world I'm doing. It's like he's gathering data. But yeah, pretty easy it looks like. Or you could do it on Twitter if people use Twitter. This right here is where you put this link into a web page. So if you had a page, intranet, or your main page for the police department or organization or whatever, you could take that code, and if you have somebody knows some HTML, they just take that, paste it in wherever, and it's up and running. This one I don't know. I haven't played with that link. I don't know why you'd send somebody an email to the link, but anyway. Now I'm going to go back, and whether you're in Sheets or whatever, go back to your page. So I'll click this green icon. This will take me to my Homes page, and this same option applies on your forms, applies anywhere. If you got a spreadsheet here, you got information gathering. You see there's your 3 little dots over here. You can open a new tab, available offline. I have to remember where the share is now. I guess it's right within the document. Oh, there it is. Yeah. If you want to share it, I was wrong. You don't go back to home. You go in document. You click this share, and this tells you who you can share it with. So I could put email addresses in there. You see over here, if you do the drop down, you can allow them to edit. Yeah, I realize I got to show this part. This is kind of an important part. You can comment, can view, notify the people. There's other advanced options down here. Share your link via Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter. So lots of different options you can have. If I just said that this was edit files directly, then they can change it. And then you just click send. Nobody's 2 in here, but let's see. Cali CIS student 2. I wonder if I can edit that. Three. Cali. Oh, only. That's bad. Okay. 3, 4, 5. In the world, Control V. It's gonna make me type it. CISstudent06@gmail.com. Callie CISstudent07@gmail.com. And then if I click send, I think I had that set up so everybody could edit it. Now you should get a, if I had to notify select on there, you should get an email. Did you ever get an email? Yeah. And you should be able to open it and edit it directly. Now you'll notice somebody's editing right now. And
Oh yeah, it's watching me move around.
right. And you see there's a show chat here. I thought it showed who was editing, but
Yeah, see this I've seen on at some of those Google Plus things you're doing, because you can see who was writing what.
yeah, that's what I don't understand why I'm not seeing your name somewhere.
Or at least Callie Callie student 6 or whatever.
Oh, because you're David. Everybody's David Hayes. Never mind. You're the pink David Hayes, because I saw yours moving.
Okay.
And somebody else is in there now with a green. So if I hadn't set everybody up with David Hayes,
It would have our names.
you would see your names up there. And if you put your mouse up there, you'd see, okay, that's
If
Lisa.
you click into it, you're kind of activating it. Because
Right.
all I did was click in there.
And then if somebody's changing something, you can do the show chat here. And like I say, everybody's David Hayes. I need to change that. And then you could, have it like a chat feature. Say, what are you doing in my spreadsheet? And what are you changing? So forth. Does that make sense on the sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, that's in whatever document, and you click the share. Now, that shouldn't be just restricted to that. Like if I was back over here at Forms, there should be an option to share here. Let's see if that's a true statement. Like I say, I'm still learning about Forms. Maybe you can't share Forms.
Well, I clicked on my,
There's one right there.
I clicked on share while going, it had me locked out.
Oh, on the spreadsheet?
I don't know what it was, yeah. It was locked, wouldn't let me share anyway.
Huh. Maybe I didn't have. Maybe I didn't send it right for all the email addresses. No, I sure don't see a share feature on the Forms.
It's a share feature when I open an untitled spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And go to share, it's locked. It's private to only me.
Oh, yeah. If you do a new here, and then you click the share.
Yeah.
When this pops up, it says private name before sharing. Okay, give it untitled document before it's shared. My document. I had to give it a name.
Okay, if I went ahead and clicked on it, it said, let me have another look.
Is there what questions are there on either the forms or sheets? Let me see if I can find free Office. I go to Google and I type free Microsoft Office. and I'm going to type online.
Yeah, but you know, if Google Docs is supplying all this, you know, I wouldn't need Microsoft Office.
No, because it's compatible. Like if I have this here, if I do like I need somebody needs to actually get the Excel spreadsheet. If you do a download as Microsoft Excel, then they can view it directly in Excel. So no,
Can I copy stuff out of my Microsoft spreadsheet into here
yes.
and all the links will hold together?
Um, will all the links hold together?
I got a whole job of them all tied together. Would those still come over?
The I would guess so, but I haven't tried.
I'm gonna
Well, it
try.
won't hurt to try. I mean, it won't. I mean, it'll only copy it, right?
Right, yeah, it won't
As long
change
as
your
you're not
original.
getting rid of your first one, we can try it without it.
No, yeah, I wouldn't delete it, but I could try on one.
Yeah, if you do a file import,
Yeah.
and then you choose upload, and select a file from your device. I don't know I don't know if I have anything that doesn't have grades in it.
You have to go through import, you have to export and import, or just import?
Just import
Okay.
test.csv. Equals sum of this and this. Do a file, save, and this isn't won't tell you anything because it's too simple of an example. But test document 3/5/2019. Close that. Now I'm gonna where I was at is I went into file, import, chose upload, and you could drag a file in here or select a file from your device, and assuming I can remember where I stored it at.
I kept thinking it was insert, but it was file and import.
Then I open that, it'll import it in, and I'll create a new spreadsheet. So I'll say import data. File imported successfully. I'll say import now or open now. Let's see if my formula is there. Sum. Like I say, that's not really a good test because there's only one simple formula. If you got a lot of complicated formulas, yeah. But you notice it even keeps the formatting. So, but again, you have to keep in mind this created a copy. This has nothing to do with my spreadsheet that's already down there. So if I have somebody changing data here and changing data on the original spreadsheet, they'll quickly come out of sync.
If I put it here, then it'll be in the cloud.
It'll be in the cloud, and then anybody can make changes here. You can give them permissions to make changes, take away permissions. Yeah.
But you have to have internet to be able to mess with it.
Or a Chromebook, I'm assuming. But since it's in the cloud, all they could do with a Chromebook, if they didn't have the internet, was download a copy and then change it. So yeah.
Chromebook is just a Google device.
On a machine, as I understand it. I don't got a Chromebook, but
yeah, I mean, you know, the kids all have in high school. That's the thing that they're checked out is that Google is the Chromebook. So yeah, but it's just it's their way of Google docking, Google sheeting.
right.
Googling.
Googling, that's it.
Now, if you are interested in free, I'll go ahead and show it briefly. I just type free Microsoft Office Online. And if I click that, this is their way of trying to compete against Google's apps. And if I sign in, and this will be questionable whether I can remember this. You have to have an account. Break free from passwords. No thanks. It'll come up with this, and as far as I can see, it's always free, and has all these programs available. I said that they had a forms. I haven't played with it. I assume it does the same thing where you create a forms and it'll automatically update a spreadsheet. And again, this is in the cloud, so anything you create in here is up on the internet. It's not on your local PC.
So you can do that because it's saying to do 365. Is that what? Are you on 365 doing that, or is 360? Or you don't have to do that?
You don't have to do that.
Okay.
They'll offer you different times to buy it or
Okay,
install it, and don't do that.
I just want to make sure you didn't have to be 365.
No, but it's a scaled down version. Like if I go into Word, but then again, depends upon what you do with Word. If you don't do very much with Word, their little scaled down version might be plenty. You know, here's
I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, but yeah, Office is free if you use it up in the cloud. So. Well, next week we'll be going over Windows 10. If you on next Tuesday, if you wanna come, it's 6 o'clock again. Or Windows 10 is how to get around this, how to do different things in it, how to use the File Explorer. Assuming I wouldn't have it lock up.
I will not be here. I got a kiddo having surgery on his knee.
Oh.
Slipped on the ice just last month, and he tore his tendon. Had to reconstruct it. You're like, seriously? He's not even my athletic kid. He had knee surgery.